Good evening, Hyperspinners. Today we're going to be talking about how to set up the NEC Turbo Grafx CD system, so get ready. Alright guys, so first things first, you're going to go to Hyperspin's download section. You're going to get any of the media that you find there, so it looks like there's some wheel art as well as some box art. So go ahead and download that. Also, what you're going to want to do is go to HyperHQ after you downloaded the emulator of your choice. And the one that we're going to be talking about is going to be BizHawk. And let's go ahead and look at that. So what we're going to do is just type in, well, first what we're going to do is check the module to find the most up-to-date emulator version that it supports. So we're going to the Rocket Launcher folder, modules, and we're going to BizHawk. And what I'll do is I'll include the modified version that I have here. I believe I just added support for the file structure that I have, and the URL is at the top here, and the version 194. So there you go. What you're going to do is you're going to download the package here, and there's a number of places where you can get them here. Once you've downloaded the release, then what you're going to do, well, first you're going to want to make sure that you are on 194, and once you've done that, you're going to go to HyperHQ. You're going to go to Main Menu Wizard and push the plus sign. You're going to type in NEC PC Engine CD, and you'll hit next a couple times. You'll be congratulated, and you'll get back to the wheel settings, which is where I'm at here. So once you've done that, you're going to go to the emulator tab. You're going to make sure that all this is set to default, and you're going to move on and just make sure that these other tabs are to your liking. So you'll adjust the alpha to make sure your setup is consistent across the board. You're going to want to make sure that your animated out and reload backgrounds are also set to check. Everything else should be set to default here, and if you use the sort of frame that I've got on my setup, where you've got the top left and the bottom right sort of things that hug Hyperspin, display some extra info, then you want to make sure that your special artwork is set up and your spacing is also set up. So this is consistent across all my systems, and we will get moving here. So HyperHQ is now closed because we've done everything we needed to do. Once you have the downloads from Hyperspin, you'll also want to go to hyperlist.hyperspinfe.com, and you'll scroll down and get your database, and it will be here, NEC Turbo Grafx CD, last updated in 2016. Download the XML, and you'll put that in your Hyperspin root folder where there's the database folder, and you'll drop it right in your folder structure here. So we're going to go to NEC Turbo Grafx CD, and if you haven't already, take a look at how to create these genres. It's pretty quick and easy, but you'll just drop that XML in here, and let's go ahead and pull up Rocket Launcher. And now we're going to open up Rocket Launcher UI. So what you're going to do is go to Global, and we're going to Emulators. We're going to scroll down to BizHawk here, and if you don't see that, you'll push the plus sign, but since we do see it, I'm going to double click it. You're going to make sure that the path to your BizHawk is here. You'll just, based on wherever you install your BizHawk exe, you will just path that here by pushing the magnifying glass. And the ROM extensions are 7Z, ZIP, Q, CDI, CD, or CCE, and PCE. The module is going to be this modified version that I've got here. Literally the only thing that I believe was modified here is, here, let's scroll to the top here. I'm going to say that I added the system in the system bit. I don't think I made any sort of adjustment when it comes down to this. I might have added it in this section as well within the type, but outside of that, I don't see really anything that I would have done outside of that. So once you path the module to this modified version that I will include on the FTP under the rocket launcher structure, and yeah, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And since we've set the global path up for this system, we're going to go to NEC Turbo Grafx CD, and we're going to go to the main settings tab. If you've been following along with videos, you know what these global settings are already set up, yes and no's. So with the main settings, I've got everything set to global. Virtual drive I've got set to false. 7Z I've got set to true because everything's zipped up. And it looks like skip checks is also set to false. Next on our workflow is going to be bezels. I've got bezels set to on, so you can see that there. And last, we've got to check the Fade General tab. So as you can see, everything's set to global, so that tells me that Fade In and Fade Out are all working correctly. And we're going to move on. So we're going to go to the Emulators tab. You're going to put the game path here, and you're going to push the plus sign to find that path. And then you're going to select the default emulator to BizHot. So since you've already set that up in the global settings, it will display here. And here are all the other emulators that support this system. But we're going to use BizHot here. So next we're going to go to the Module tab. You're going to see that the modified version is displayed here. It is in red, but it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We're going to launch the emulator, and we're going to be playing with the settings here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Launch Emulator, and it is already up here. What I did is I loaded a game just for the sake of ease here, because you can't set up the controls until you've actually loaded a game. So what we're going to do is just go through the top of the menus here and just make sure that everything's matching with what you've got. I've got the window size set to max, and controls, you're going to go to configure controls, and then you're just going to go down the list. The D letters are your number keys, so 1 and 7 and 5 are different keys. You got player 2, you'll select all of those, and any of the controls here. There are a couple things at the bottom here that you might modify, but everything was set to default here. We're going to hit save. Next we are going to go to Hotkeys, so if you like to save your games, there's your load and save states. You'll set those up. You'll also go through here and modify your load and save states. Breeze through these real fast. All of this was really set to default other than those first two tabs. Next we're going to go to display. These are the settings that I've got set up. I've got Direct 3D9 set up, and full display, and then window is set to, I've got the menu and the status bar unchecked. And we're going to go to paths next. You're going to want to make sure that you go to PC Engine. You're going to path your games here, and anything else that you might want. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then firmware, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you drop this file wherever you do find it in your root folder for your BizHot folder itself, and then you'll scan and it will find it. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And that is it, guys. I'll open up the profile. There's nothing to really show here. And let's see, cores, no. So there you have it, guys. You have the emulator set up, and I believe if you double click here, it full screens it. So just a heads up there, but when you do launch the emulator itself, it will have the bezels surrounding the casing of it, and it will look nice and tidy. So that is how you set up the NEC Turbo Grafx CD system, and we'll catch you next time.